Alright, what do you think this is? Piece of wood, a couple of screws in it, exactly 2 inches apart. What the heck would I be doing with this? Well, let me show you what it's for. Going over to the layout, and want to do some road work. Well, my roads are 2 inches apart, so all I need to do is go in and scribe my roads with this. Now, I'm going to use this, and then I'm going to also use red or green or whatever Sharpie in order to mark it. But this is something consistent all the way around. Anyway, that's what it is. I'm attempting to template the road, and I'm just using some cardboard from a cereal box here. But the road comes here, comes around. Can't make this too tight. I have to leave a bit of room in there. This is where the table ends, and this is where it would pick it up. But again, I think this would be more of a curve that would go along where you can see it there. I'm still debating material. I've seen people use styrene, smooth it, and I have some black paper not paper, but spongy material that I could use. Need to think about that. But the parking area here, I think that's a smooth it or a sculpt to mold area. And I like the idea of that over there back, although I think it needs to go in there a little more. And we'll mark that out with tape and then put some smooth it in there. If I had smooth it, I would have used it, but I didn't have smooth it, so I ended up using hydrocal. Well, hopefully it'll do the trick. I have a crossing here. So what I started with is some isopropyl alcohol 50-50 mix. Put it on there just to get everything good and wet. And then this is just plain tap water going on where the ballast is. Because the ballast has been done with just white glue, it should loosen up. So I should be able to just scrape it away. It's a little messy. I'm going to need a towel here. Just using a brass brush. And then, now it's time to let some stuff dry for a while, but here's the road. Alright, here's the little parking lot. Road's going to go in. I took the tape off around the side. I did a quick sanding. There's still marks, which I'm happy with. And now, I even vacuumed it. I'm going to do a quick paint. For paint, I'm going to start, I don't know what it's going to look like yet. There's a little dollop of gray coming out. And this is this weird gray I bought called Payne's Gray. So let's squish some of that. Looks pretty black to me. And then we'll take the brush and goop it around to be a what's going to be a kind of a concrete-y color. Now this is relatively thick acrylic, but that's fine. You can see when I put it on there's potholes and stuff. I find when I'm working on stuff, I get to points where I'm just not sure what to do. And this crossing has been one of those. I mean, I kind of roughed out what the road looks like, but I need to do a crossing. And thought, should I go and buy some or what? Well, I have these, which they're kind of an off size, so I can't use them for the track I build, but I think I can put about 4 of them across, maybe 5, maybe if I build it with 5 across and do trying to figure out how this may work. I mean, it's easy enough to use some glue and glue these guys together and then use sandpaper and sand them down later. And then I'd need about, because this is curved, I think I'd do it as three separate. Now these little guys need some time to finish drying. I glued them and they're pretty much together but not completely. This just gives you an idea what it looks like. What I haven't done, I'll push that up there. Once I glue it in, those guys will glue in like nice and tight like that. There'll be just enough room there for a car to run along. And there isn't right now, but there's close. It gets over the first one though, so just a little bit of sanding. All I did to make these was I have some plate glass here. I took one of these 1 by 2 by 3s, put it like that, took one of this square, put it together, and then just went ahead and lined it up, grabbed a pair of tweezers, grabbed one of these, put it in place, grabbed the next one, dipped it in glue that I had here, put it by this one, slid it over, and just kept repeating this until, yeah, this one's on its side, but there's 4. Until I had the 5 of them together, pushed it over, pushed it nice and flush up against these 2 guys, and then let them all dry. And that's how we got that. Now that they're there, they're stuck down quite well, so what I use is an old razor blade and just push underneath. Okay, lesson learned. Don't leave it for 2 days. It gets a little hard. But the nice thing about using this plate glass is I can scrape the glue off with this razor blade and clean it all off. So it's going to take a little more work this time than before, but we'll get it all up. And there's all the goodies. Alright, this is all nice and clean now. If you want to go even further, you can use a little bit of Windex or something on it to clean it, but I generally don't. Now let's take all the finished pieces over and let's start fitting them. Alright, we're going to start by doing a little sanding. And all I'm going to do is just enough to get it smooth. Only need to do it on one side. And also need to do the leading edge. Now we do the leading edge because of trip pins. There we go. Well, and the other end needs to be at a nice 90. So that goes in there like that. And I thought I'd try something else as well. Make sure this fits. It's a little bit tight in there. So we're going to grab a different emery board because it's a little bit coarser. I'm going to grab this instead, which is a little stickier. Yeah, it's not touching on the bottom there at all, so I need something that will... Yeah, that's better. Need to get a little glue spreader, toothpick. Now let's do an initial check here. That seems to be just fine. So let's do the last one. Don't want you any higher than the track. Okay, that one's good. Okay, I can feel that's a little bit high, so we'll have to take it down after it's dry. But knowing that, we'll take a little bit off the top of this one. Okay, how does that go? Not bad. Seems a little narrow there. It's getting pretty solid. Let's try an actual rail car. Rail cars go okay. Alright, now I gotta do this one. The second one's done. Now I know by feeling stuff I'm gonna have to do a little bit of filing there. But, you know, there's clearance, so as I say, I'll have to work it a little bit just to make sure. And then that's kind of that piece done. So those have to dry for a while now before I can do any filing or anything on them. I got to make sure they're good and dry. Now I can focus on maybe doing a little work in here. Now what I've decided to do was there's a pothole and there's some other stuff on here, and I'm going to fill it with an asphalt mix that I'm going to make. In order to make this, I'm going to start with some ballast. So here we have some ballast. Then we're going to pour in a bit of rubbing alcohol. Keep that handy because I may need more. Yeah, I will. Then I'm going to pour in some of this foam tack glue. I'm going to throw in a little more rubbing alcohol. And we're going to mix this up. Okay, it's waterier, more watery than I wanted, but I wanted it more porridge-like. Bearing in mind the white part is just going to dry clear, and then may not work for what I want. So I'm going to grab another cup and throw some sandier colored ballast in there. A couple of spoonfuls. Then we'll go back to this mix. We'll pour in a bit. And mix that up. Okay, that's a wet sand mix. A little more than that. That's getting better. It's about the consistency that I want. It looks kind of sandy, so that's okay. Now, a couple of things I'm going to do with this. And I want to fill this hole, so let's just put a bit there. It's way too much. Because all I'm going to do is just this. There's another bit there. Just build a walkway here. Now what I've decided to do was, there's a pothole and there's some other stuff on here, and I'm going to fill it with an